compassion, paradox, non-polarization. 3 key competences for any leader that wants to be visionary, courageous, and take bold decisions without fear. I believe that more than at any point in time, today the world needs visionary, courageous leaders who will not be fearful to take bold decisions. I'm convinced more deeply about this based on the work that I did with the AACSB International. The AACSB is a body that accredits business schools, of which I'm on the advisory board. And we're looking at what are the competences that a leader will need in today's complex world, where you have things like large language models, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and all the things that are happening around us. What kind of a leader do we need? How do we equip them in the schools? And 3 areas that we don't seem to touch at all are 1, compassion, paradox, and non-polarization. Let me expatiate on each of these ones. The typical leader is painted as Superman, macho, don't show any emotion, get it done. Sometimes the team member that you're leading, they need to know that you are there for them. They need to know that you have their back. Maybe you've been performing historically very well, but you've fallen onto some personal difficulties. It could be marital, it could be health or whatever. And at that point in your low ebb, you don't need someone trampling on you and making you feel less of yourself. At this point in time, you need in your leader a shoulder on which you can cry on, a listening ear, a voice that says, don't worry, I've got you. Compassion, never taught in any school. And very important that it should be taught because it's part of the leadership competences that will differentiate someone from a mediocre leader into a visionary and courageous leader. The other competence is paradox. And sometimes as leaders, we are so conceited that we are holding on to a view which is fantastically wrong. And we don't want to see the truth because we don't want to be wrong. But just consider this, that sometimes it's based on a whole lot of experiential input that you come up with the right result. Consider 3 blind men trying to determine an elephant. The one at the tail will say, oh, this is a rope. The one at the legs will say, this is a tree. The one at the side will say, definitely a wall. The one at the trunk will say, I'm holding a snake. And none of them is wrong or entirely right. It's only when you take the totality of the experiential that you come up with the right answer. It is an elephant. And this is also important, to hold a thought that it's not just my way or the highway. What are the other inputs to get to the right place? And the last but not the least is non-polarization. We program ourselves into binary. Austin, do you like tea or coffee? The moment you ask me that question, I can add 2 more options. I could like none or I could like both. So instead of 2 options, I have immediately created 2 more. I have 4 options. And as leaders, we tend to fall into that binary trap. This is the correct one, this is the wrong one. But let me give you an example. If you write the figure 6, I see 6, and I say this is 6. Ronald sees a 9 because he's standing ahead of the 6, and he says this is a 9. And we trade blows and we call each other names and we call each other liars. But if I go on to Ronald's side, I'll see that what he's seeing is a 9. And if he comes over to my side, he'll see that what I'm seeing is a 6. So it's not binary. We shouldn't have polarization. Rather, we should strive to see things from the other person's perspective. The best example to illustrate this is little Mary that is being taught mathematics at school. And the teacher says to Mary, if I give you 2 apples and I give you 2 more apples, how many apples do you have? Mary says, I will have 5 apples. Teacher is very annoyed. Mary, you are thick. We went through this several times yesterday. If I give you 2 apples and I give you 2 more apples, how many apples will you have? If the teacher had asked Mary, why do you say 5? Mary would have told the teacher, because my mom packed 1 apple for me in my bag. So if you give me 2 apples and 2 more, plus the 1 in my bag, I will have 5 apples. Think about it. Compassion, paradox, non-polarization. 3 key competencies for any leader that wants to be visionary, courageous, and take bold decisions without fear.